All right, you guys, and we're back with more Living More with the Morgans. We just wrapped up part one of this very important discussion, going from distractions to destruction. And we wanted to do a multi-part series on this because I think the topic is so important as we're going into Black History Month here in February, closing out January. And I think our discussion that we left off is, how we experienced our first experience in Africa, touching the continent of Kenya. And we may have experienced a little bit of turbulence after we got off the plane into the airport, but that wasn't enough to dampen our experience in Kenya.
Not at all. Love Kenya.
Love Kenya.
Love it.
So dope.
So dope.
The people are so fly, so dope, just warm.
Yeah.
And so that didn't, just because we had a little bit of turbulence on arrival, that did not make us look at Africa and say, we're done with this. No, quite the opposite. In fact, babe, we took more journeys to the continent.
Absolutely.
After Kenya, it was Ethiopia.
Yes, it was.
And my God.
Yes.
My God. Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Family, if you haven't been, you have to go to Ethiopia. I mean, you got to go to Kenya.
Yeah.
First of all.
Kenya too.
Nairobi, beautiful.
Right.
Absolutely just stunning.
Right.
Now, let's be honest. Does it have its parts?
Yeah.
Just like Chicago has its parts.
Right.
Just like Dallas has its parts.
Right.
Right.
And you know what? Just to say about coming into the airport there in Nairobi.
Yeah.
When we got out and we were getting our luggage, that was at night. But I think when we were getting ready to go to Kisumu, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember standing in line before we were going in, and you look over to your left and you could see the giraffes. And
yes.
I literally almost cried.
Yeah.
Because I was like, they're looking at us like, wonder what those people over there do. It was so freaking dope.
Fam,
I was like,
it's
and the zebra,
right.
And I was like
it's like
you can
the
see
airport
in the distance.
Exactly. Like it's the airport and it's like safari, like wilderness and just like you said, you're looking at zebras and you're looking at giraffes, right there next to the airport.
Yeah.
And that, where else in the world can you experience that but Africa?
Right.
Yeah.
And remember, we did go to one of the elephant
the orphanage. The elephant orphanage.
Right.
Yes.
And we saw the elephants, we saw them feeding them.
Yes.
We got a chance up close and personal to see that.
Yeah.
The giraffes,
yes.
To see what you only saw on TV.
Right.
In person was like awesome.
It's amazing. And
it's
then
amazing.
We flew into Kisumu, and then we had to drive from Kisumu into Bungoma.
Yes.
And on our stop, we got a chance to stop at the equator.
Yes, we did.
And so we got out there, and it was funny because they were showing us how on the equator, if you flush a toilet or if you swirl water or whatever, it goes counterclockwise instead of clockwise.
Yeah.
And or however, I don't know.
Yeah, it was counterclockwise.
One of the two. Yeah. And so it was so dope to see that. But you all, the people, the warmth that we experienced from Kenya was just incredible.
And the food.
And the food. And I'm not even a foodie person.
I'm a foodie. I grew up.
She's the food person, but that's the Kenyan food, bro. That bangs.
It bangs.
It bangs, and I mean it's on point. So much beauty.
Yes, shout out to Kenyan brothers.
Absolutely,
and sisters. Love you.
So much beauty, so much culture, so rich.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a whole lot of time out there because, like I said, we were serving the orphanage and stuff out there. But what we were able to do and able to see, there was it's magnificent. Magnificent. If Kenya is your first step onto the continent, you will not be disappointed.
You won't be disappointed.
Pack patience though, like we said. You know, you got to pack some patience, you got to pack some forgiveness,
Yeah.
right? But at the same time, pack expectation of greatness, pack expectation of history.
Yes.
And when you do that, you're going to be in for the time of your life. And
I
so
agree.
just because we experienced some turbulence and we saw some ugly stuff, we saw some beautiful stuff, but we saw some ugly stuff, that didn't make us want to say, I'm not going back. It made us really say, we're going back and we want to see more.
Right. Just like you were talking about with Ethiopia.
Right. And so we go to Addis Ababa. We're there, you know, for a couple of days. We're there on business there. And the people, the city, the vibrance, and see, this was 2018.
Yeah.
So I can imagine, you know, the past 8 years of what has been built up.
Yes.
Between 2018 and now 2026.
Yes.
I can only imagine.
Shout out to Addis Ababa. I mean, your city is just absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely.
You guys are doing such, you know, so much great things.
Can I say this? I'm gonna say that. Now, fam, my wife is beautiful. We can see this. No, you are. And I can say this.
Yeah, you can say this.
Can I say this? Right?
Yeah, because I can say it.
You ain't gonna beat me up after?
No.
Okay. Fellas, hear me well.
Yeah.
Hear me well. Do not marry a woman yet. Unless you know that's the one. Sent by God. Do not marry a woman yet until you step foot in Ethiopia. Do not. Them women there are stunning. My wife is stunning. Straight up. Them sisters over there in Ethiopia,
they are.
Kenya, that
it doesn't take away from me.
Right.
That you say that, or because I know that
because you saw it, right?
Yeah, I know that I am because it comes from the inside.
Yes.
But the women there, and you know this about me.
Yeah.
When you're beautiful, I say it. I'm gonna tell you.
Absolutely.
Oh, you're gorgeous. You're beautiful. That takes nothing away from me as a woman. Yeah. That what I'm doing is giving her flowers.
Yes.
Lifting her up and telling the truth.
Yes.
Because they are
absolutely
beautiful.
And so when we got there and we saw that, like I said, even my wife was like, the women here are just stunning, just gorgeous. And it's not just the beauty and, you know, the outer appearance.
Right.
It's the aura, the essence, the regalness.
Yes.
You know, the warmth that we saw from the people there in Ethiopia. And so, family, to my African brothers and my African American, brothers and sisters, my Black American brothers and sisters, and those in the Caribbean. And so, if you have not been to Africa, you are missing so much. You're missing so much culture and so much richness and opportunity that you can only get so much reading from a book. You can only get so much looking at YouTube videos and TikTok, reels. My prayer is that God Almighty would bless you with the money.
And you go and get a guide. Have a whole experience.
Yes.
Okay. If you are going for the first time, if you have any questions for us and what we did and how we were able to go, reach out to us. We're more than happy to give that information out.
And it's good to have that information before you go, right? And so, like my wife is saying, feel free to hit us up with a DM, email us, visit our website. You can fill out the contact form on our website, and we'll get that and get back to you. Why? Because we want you to have a great experience like we did. We've had nothing but great experiences.
Yes.
Again, you may see stuff here and there, but it doesn't take away from the overall experience that you have, especially when you plan ahead.
That's right.
Right? When you plan ahead and you go with an expectation to see and to experience something great and something positive, then you'll attract what you're looking for.
Right. And you have to plan ahead because you're not going to the a neighboring country. You're going, this is a journey.
Right.
So, Africa is not like next door. So
right.
Make sure that you get all of the information, study, research, find the, good organizations that will help you if you do want to do safaris and go to different places like the museums that we visited in Addis Ababa.
Absolutely.
And got to see Lucy and
the first human,
first human, and all of that, and just the warmth of the people. The food was a bit different, but again, to each his own.
Yeah, to each his own.
So try everything. Just and then get to know people. Don't be afraid.
Yeah. And of course, seeing Kenya, seeing Ethiopia, we couldn't stop there. And so we had to see Nigeria.
Yes.
And we see Nigeria 2018. We're there for business.
Yes.
Now, Nigeria, for me, honestly, Nigeria took my breath away in a way that Kenya and Ethiopia, they gave me an amazing experience, but it was more of a spiritual connection for me with Nigeria. And at the time going in 2018, I didn't even know why.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I did not know what was it about Nigeria. And it would take a whole nother video to kind of explain what we experienced there in Nigeria on our first time there. But there was this connection spiritually. I can remember standing out at the front of our hotel, and I was just standing there by myself watching traffic go by. And this feeling came over me like, you're home, right? In Nigeria. Like, you're here, right?
Really?
Yeah. You're here. I'm in front of the hotel standing there, and I'm just watching cars go by. And I think other people are doing their thing or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just stand there, and I'm saying, this feels like I've been here before.
Wow.
This feels like I've been here before. And this was way before we had done the DNA tests.
Really?
The ancestry test. This was way before. This was years before that.
It was.
So Nigeria, it met me with so many different emotions. Truth be told, our Nigerian brothers and sisters, and they know this, they can be aggressive. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
Our Nigerians are more aggressive, West Africans in particular, but Nigerians in particular can come across as more aggressive than East Africans. And so, coming from seeing Kenya and in Ethiopia, it's like night and day when you got to Nigeria.
Yes.
Yeah. And we had to be ready for that.
We had to be ready. I didn't initially feel that connection with Nigeria. I was, even though I'm 38%, I didn't initially feel that connection. I think I felt more, for me, and I'm just being honest, I felt more of a connection for some reason in Egypt. I felt more of a connection there. I'm not sure why that is. Now, again, we've traced our ancestry, and but I didn't know you felt that, and that's something that we didn't even discuss. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I remember we were there not just on business, but with some governmental business that we were doing with Niger State.
Right.
And we had a chance to meet the governor of Niger State and so forth, and do some things out there with agribusiness. And I remember we were out in the fields where they had the produce and the vegetables and all those different things out there. And we kind of wandered off, and we were looking at some of the fisheries and different things that they had out there. And I just remember some of the pictures and video that I took of the sunset and just the greenery that was out there.
Yeah.
And I felt like I know this place.
Wow.
Wow. Like I felt like I know this place. And so when we did the ancestry and it came back for me, it was 33%. When it came back, 33% Nigerian, which is the majority, and then everything else, are many other West African countries for my ancestry. It's like, yeah, this was home.
And you know what? That I can say, now that you mentioned that, I can say that I did when it was, the fisheries and the agriculture. Now, I know that.
Yeah.
So I immediately had a connection in that area. Yeah, I immediately had a connection in that area. So let me reframe that, because I did have that.
Right.
And I remember us standing there, and you're right. It was like a little bit for me, more importantly, more for you, but it was a sense of, well, this is what I've grown up to know and do. So it made a connection in that area for me.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
That's a great point.
And I think that at that time, we were making connections here in America with our Nigerian brothers and sisters here, particularly through ministry.
Yes.
And so it opened up a door.
Yes, it did.
For us and for our curiosity.
Yes.
With Nigeria.
Yeah.
And you cannot, family, to my Black Americans, you cannot base all of Africa off of one country that you visit.
No, you cannot.
If you do that, you will be doing yourself a disservice.
Absolutely.
That Africa is so much more, and there's so many different experiences that each country, each city is going to give you.
It's true.
And so as we give that back history, and you mentioned Egypt and our time in Egypt, Egypt was like, we had been there the longest. Yes. I think we were in Nigeria probably about 2.5 weeks.
Right.
We were in Egypt maybe about 3 to 3.5 weeks.
Yes.
And Egypt gave us an experience that, and we were there on vacation. We had, I didn't know what to expect from Egypt.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect from Egypt.
Neither did
I expected history, which we got.
Yes.
I expected, a predominantly Muslim country.
Yeah.
Muslim government. But once you get there, I did not expect the hustle and bustle of Cairo. I didn't expect the tranquility of Saqqara and Luxor. And so all these experiences you're getting, it's like a 5-course meal on a plate on your table. You can pick a little something from, if you want to chill, we're in Hurghada and we're on the beach on the Red Sea and we're kicking it, and there's, and we're relaxing. You go to this part, you go to Luxor, man, you're seeing all the temples and the Valley of the Kings and so forth. Cairo got the hustle and bustle and the pyramids of Giza and so forth and so on, and Saqqara
and the Nile.
You got you've got so much you can experience.
Yeah.
And so I think Egypt was so emotion overload.
It was.
So such a spiritual overload, especially for those, if you love history and you love, biblical history. It's like when you step foot in Egypt, you're taken back 5,000, 6,000 years. Yeah. And you're like, well, this is the place that such and such walked, and this is the place that they built this. And, if you're a believer, if you're a Christian, Yeshua and the first family came here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
So all those different things, all those different emotions are just wrapped up. And so I wanted to give people that kind of back history when it comes to, when you travel through Africa, you're going to get so many different experiences, and you're going to get so many different flavors of Africa, that don't limit yourself to just, I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to Ghana and I'm done. And that's what I think a lot of Black Americans are doing right now.
Yeah, and there's nothing
wrong with it. Nothing against Ghana, family.
No.
We love our Ghanaian brothers and sisters, absolutely. But we're telling those in the diaspora, particularly here in America, that venture out, go see Ghana. Yes, we plan to go see Ghana, absolutely. But go see other places as well and get it. Man, I mean, you go to Baskin and Robbins, you got 30 some odd different flavors of ice cream. Don't just go eat one kind of ice cream. Go taste and go see. Because you'll find out, you'll look up and you say, well, man, I didn't know such and such had this.
Right.
I didn't know such and such had this. And then you'll end up loving more places of this continent. Okay. That's what happened with us. And that we share that because that is what killed off the ignorance.
Yes, it did.
Is when you go experience it and you go sit down with the people and you go have a meal with the people. And you go into their homes and you see how they worship and you see what their culture is and so forth. That is what peels back the layers of ignorance that we got here in America about Africa.
And you start to see we're more alike than we are not alike.
Right.
So we're more, we want the same things. We have, sometimes I remember at times when we were, I think it was in Nigeria and Kenya, you know, you look up, is that my uncle?
Right.
That's my cousin.
Right.
Wait a minute, she looked like
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, we were literally doing that. You can go to Nigeria, fam, and you can be walking down the street and man, that's my cousin. Man, that's Ray Ray. That ain't Ray Ray.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
And it's like people start looking. We even went to Egypt. We went to Egypt and we're seeing darker skinned Egyptians and we're like, y'all look like us.
Yeah.
Y'all look like us and we look like y'all.
Our friend Muhammad's uncle.
Yes.
Is my husband's cousin.
Right.
We were like, he said, yeah, that's my uncle. I said, wait a minute. So you Arab. You know, we were trying to put things together.
And we don't know no better, right? So I'm seeing the gentleman thinking, okay, and Muhammad is telling us, no, my uncle is black. He's black African. And I'm like, well, how? And then when I meet the guy, and this is a brother, and so to sit on the floor in Muhammad's house with his wife and his mother and his children and to eat a home-cooked Egyptian meal.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, with his family, he's got uncles, he's got relatives there. And we're from Dallas, Texas, family. East Texas for my wife. Oak Cliff for me. And we're sitting on their floor in their beautiful home in this village out in the outskirts of Cairo. Your ignorance had to go out the door.
It did. And we were just so amazed to be there, and the hospitality and the love that they shown us, the kids. And when we were walking through the village, they started following us, all the kids. Same thing in Ethiopia, where the kids were following us and stuff. And it was just was so beautiful and so just emotional at the same time. But we were just in awe. Like you said, the ignorance, if there's any at all, or what you don't know, goes out the window when you get a chance and an opportunity and you open your heart and your mind to get to know people. We love to go off the beaten path. We ain't touristy.
No,
we don't like all of that. We like to get to know the people who live in the places that we're visiting,
the actual local,
actual local.
And I think, and it's great that you brought that up, babe, because I think a lot of times when people plan trips, they plan as a tourist, and then there's touristy stuff to do. Nothing wrong with that. I think that has its place. I think for us though, we wanted the real experiences of Egypt and Addis Ababa and so forth. And so for us, and you got to be safe. You got to, you got to know, you got to discern. You got to know who to trust. And you got to be around people that you can trust, and you got to pray, right?
Correct.
But because anywhere you go, if you go looking for trouble, if you go looking for the bad in something, you're going to find it.
Yeah.
Right. If you go looking,
if your heart is that,
right. If your heart is that, right.
Yes,
and so if your heart is, I'm finna turn up and I'm finna do this and this and this and this. Okay, you're going to find opposition against that, because you're not. Many times people go to Africa in particular, they go to get,
right,
instead of giving.
Yes.
And so when you don't go necessarily with the heart to give, but just to get, then you're going to be met with some opposition. You're going to be met with some things that might not give you the best experience. because your heart posture was wrong in going. And that's not just Africa, that's anywhere you go.
Anywhere, right.
Anywhere we've gone around the world, we've always gone with an expectation, a high expectation to experience something great, but to also be able to give back to the people and to the country while we're there.
Yes.
And so, babe, I wanted to give some back history because I wanted people to know, particularly our Black American brothers and sisters, I wanted them to know that we've seen it, we've experienced it.
Yeah.
And we had to make the decision for ourselves not to hold on what we've been told about Africa, not to hold on to the ignorance, not to hold on to the hearsay of what we've been taught in our educational institutions here in America, what we've been taught through our media, what we've been taught through entertainment. No, I want to go see it for myself. And I think once we did that and we got a taste of that, it's like a good steak. It's like you will put behind them beans and weenies that you've been eating your whole life, that's been force fed down your throat. And once you eat that good steak and you cut into that bad boy, you're going to want some more steak. I remember the first time we flew business class, I think it was to Qatar.
Yeah.
Now, we had flown first class before, whatever.
Yeah, right.
But we flew Qatar business class. Once you fly that, it's like you will dread going back to economy. I mean, even though you might have to.
Right.
But you will dread going back to economy because you've experienced something so grand, so opulent, and such on a higher level, where now your taste buds and will always want that. Even if you can't afford that the next time, you're going to have a desire for that because you're like, man, I've experienced it. I want it again. That's what Africa will do. That's what travel will do.
Yes.
Is travel will make you say, man, I got to have this again.
Right.
I got to experience this again. So you guys don't go nowhere. We're going to be right back with more Living More with the Morgans. If you haven't already, but though, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, check out all of our social media platforms, our podcast platforms. We will be right back. Don't go nowhere. We're still here. Living More with the Morgans. Stay tuned. It doesn't matter what they call you. What matters is what you answer to. Landisheray. All right, you guys, and we're back with Living More with the Morgans, and thank you so much for staying tuned with us. As always, we're totally appreciative, and we've been having a good conversation. We're in, we're tapering off January. We're going into Black History. We've been talking about our experiences with Africa, and as Black Americans, how we are really looking to bridge the gap with our African brothers and sisters and throughout the Black diaspora. And it's important, and I think it's even important for other cultures outside of the Black community to really know that and understand that our coming together is not an expulsion of you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right? It's not an expulsion of white people and Europeans. It's not an expulsion of or dismissal of Asians. Or, it's not that. But there is a sense that the time for us to come together is now, and it has to be now. And so, as we dive into this segment, of the episode, I really want us to really start asking the question that, are we starting to mistake our representation, our visibility that we have now through technology, through media, now that we're in the entertainment world, now that we are behind some of the media, in the programming and different things like that, particularly on social media, now that we have a little bit more visibility with one another, are we really making progress with that? Is our visibility helping with our stability?
That's good.
Because the issue can be that just because we're being seen, just because we're being heard, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're making progress.
That's right.
it doesn't mean that we're necessarily being united and coming together.
Right.
And I think there are forces out there, honey, that would want nothing more to continue to see us divided. Even though we're being seen, we're not being strengthened.
That's good.
And so we do ourselves a disservice to have, all of this technology and the advent of social media and TikTok and, be able to FaceTime and all these different things that we have at our disposal. We do ourselves a disservice if we don't strengthen one another while we're seeing one another.
Right.
And that we're hearing one another, but we're not listening to one another.
Right. Ready to respond instead of listening.
Right.
Right. And coming together and having these conversations that are necessary for both. The narrative, the powers that be don't want us to come together. Right. They don't want us to come together and be able to begin to heal and to bridge the gap and begin to understand one another. And so since we are talking about this is why we're bringing this show to you all, because it's no longer time for us to look as if we're doing something. We have people out there that are doing great things.
Yes.
We got the Wody Myers. Shout out to Wody Meyer and to his wife, Miss Trudy, that are doing all these great things and showcasing who Africans are, and trying to bridge the gap.
Yes.
But it has to be just more than just Wody Meyer.
Right.
It has to be, like we're doing, and others. We have to be able to say, we have to stop this. We have to dispel all these myths and things that have been fed to us and told to us. And now is the time for us to come together.
Yes.
Because, they say that when you put a fist together, it can make a mighty blow. When you bring it all together, all components together, what could happen, what we could build, what we could do for our children, like you said earlier, that will impact our children when we leave this earth. This is what we want to do, and bridge the gap and dispel these myths and things that have been fed to us and taught to us, so that we can come together as one people.
And absolutely. And the division, or the to perpetuate the division, is intentional.
It's intentional, absolutely.
Right? It's actually a strategy against us. There's the powers that be actually hope that we will continue the infighting, we'll continue the conflict with one another, and that there will be no unity, there will be no coming together. And so that has been the playbook from the beginning, is that keep them divided, keep them at each other's throat, keep them seeing each other's differences other than their similarities. You said something that was key. You made the analogy about a fist can make a mighty blow.
Yeah.
I will expound on that analogy like this. Right now, you see 5 fingers. Each of these 5 fingers is vulnerable by itself.
Right.
Alone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If I go take my finger, my thumb, and go try to smash it into a wall or hit a wall with it, I can most likely break my thumb because it's vulnerable by itself.
Yes.
If I take my pointer finger and I do the same thing and I try to smash it against this table, I'm going to hurt my finger, possibly break it, because it's too vulnerable by itself. But if I take these fingers and I bring them together and I make a fist with this, then I can put this fist against a wall. I can put this fist against a barrier. I can pound this fist against this table to make my point. That's how powerful we are when we take all of our vulnerabilities that we think we have,
right,
which are really strengths,
yes,
and we bring them together and we say, we're going to make this fist and we're going to go through any barrier together. Guess what? In order to make this fist, I need this thumb. I need my middle finger. I need my ring finger. I need my pinky. my pinky is usually the most vulnerable finger of all the five.
Right.
But you can't make no real fist without this, even the smaller one.
Mm-hmm.
So the tallest one is the middle finger.
Mm-hmm.
The thickest one is the thumb.
Yes.
The most vulnerable one and the smallest one is the pinky. You need all five of them. So you need all, so every tribe, every nation, we need to all come together to make this fist.
That was so perfect.
Thank you.
That was so eloquent. You did an excellent job.
Thank you, babe.
Yes.
We all need to come together, from the biggest to the smallest.
That is exactly what I'm saying.
And so if we don't do that, they're banking on us doing that. And how are they banking on it? They're banking on it now. See, it used to be, oh, we can show videos to the Americans, to the Black Americans about Africa.
Can't do that anymore.
With the lice and the flies and the big bellies and all this different stuff, and people in huts and, you know, women, you know, naked showing their breasts and everything. Oh, okay, well then, you know, we can show that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then we can show Africans, oh, the Black Americans, they're savages and all they do is rap and they're lazy and they gang bang and sell drugs and
we steal
and they do this and all this and you know, they cheat on their women and all these different things. But now, since they can no longer do that through the media entertainment as much, guess where they're doing it now? They're doing it through the algorithm. They're doing it through the podcasts.
Yes.
They're doing it through the internet. Where now, once you go on one of those videos that's perpetuating hate and perpetuating negative stereotypes, guess what? You fed into that algorithm on your social media page.
Yes.
So now on your news feed, it's hatred.
Right.
It's stuff that feeds the negative narratives.
Right.
They
want you to stay.
They want you to stay ignorant. They want you to stay hating this person. They want you to stay, you know, keeping these prejudices that we've been feeding you. So if they can't do it through the media and if they can't do it through television, now they're going to do it through social media and they're going to do it through other advents that we have now.
Yes.
And we have to be a more educated consumer now, to where the powers that be don't look like us.
Right. They don't.
They don't look like us.
Right.
Let's just be honest.
Right.
The elites that own these social media platforms and so forth that we're doing all this discussions and topics on, we don't own them. So we need to be mindful that until we get into a position of real economic ownership and power, that there are other entities of other race groups that own and can still, like they always have been, they can spin the narrative.
Right.
Think about this, babe.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to parts of Africa right now, particularly Ethiopia. We went to one of the churches in Ethiopia, and you saw pictures of Jesus and the mother and Mary the Virgin. You saw the nativity scene as brown black folks.
Right. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in some of the museums there in Addis Ababa, you saw Jesus as a brown-skinned boy and a brown-skinned man, the disciples as brown-skinned, curly hair, black, coarse hair, black people. Okay? In other parts of the world, I remember going to Kenya. And on Kenya, I remember we were driving down the street and I saw this bus, this small little bus, whatever, and people were in it. And on the side of the bus, there was artwork that was, you know, Jesus loves you and Jesus is Lord and so forth and so on. And the depiction of Jesus was the white guy, the white hair, blue-eyed white guy that we've seen most of our lives.
Yes.
Long, wavy, blonde hair, blue-eyed. That's Jesus. And I said, now here it is on the same continent in Ethiopia, Christ is a brother.
Mm.
And next door to Kenya, he's the blonde-haired white guy from Europe. Now, I say that not to really dive into religion, but I say that because there's still ignorances out there. There's still people in power that want to perpetuate false imagery and false pictures and false narratives And so as long as we hold on to as long as we hold on to those things, and as long as we don't question.
That's the word. We don't
question
it. Yeah. It's just this is how it's always been.
And we were told not to.
Right.
Even us as Black Americans, through being enslaved, in slavery, in Jim Crow, you were told, don't question massa.
Right. Yeah.
If massa say this, you're gonna get some more lashes across your back if you question massa.
Yeah.
If you buck him, more severe, or we're gonna make an example out of one of you, and we're gonna hang you in a tree, and y'all all gonna see it. So we were taught not to question.
That's right.
We were taught to just go with what we see, go with what is told to us. Mm-hmm. That's why we were told as Black Americans that you can't learn to read.
Right.
You can't learn to write. And if you do, you get killed. And that's what I want my African brothers and sisters to really know. Throughout the diaspora, here in America, if you were Black and you were enslaved, if you could read, if you could write, your slave owners had the right to kill you.
Right.
Because you could read and write.
Right. And I remember my grandmother and them, how they started learning to read was the Bible. And that stuff was done in secret. Late, early mornings, like midnight, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, they're up with a light, looking, reading, and getting an understanding of what the word is saying, how to read. Because the reason why they didn't want them to understand how to read and understand what the Bible, because they were quote unquote using the Bible to be able to control their slaves.
Yes.
And so they didn't want them to read so that they won't get an understanding fully of what is really in there about them.
Right.
And so that was the reason why they were either, could be either killed or get the lashes or like you said, hung in trees, limbs cut off, all of that burned, all of that, because they did not want them to know the truth about who they were.
Absolutely. And the atrocities that Black Americans went through, fam, just to know how to read, just to know how to write. And my angst with many of us today as Black Americans is this. There was a time when our ancestors, when they were forced to come to this country, they were not allowed to be able to read and write, right? I can remember growing up as a kid in the 80s and 90s, and I was made fun of.
Learning.
Not by white people.
Yeah.
Not by Hispanics. Not by Latinos. I was made fun of and called white and told that I talked white because I had a love for reading and writing. So think about the mind screw, if I can say that, the mind screw that has been done on us as a people here in America, Black people in America, that there was a time where we could not read or we would get killed.
Right.
Literally your life taken.
Even if you acquired more than the next, you were uppity.
Yeah.
You were considered uppity. You were considered someone that, they thought they were more important than you were. So yeah, those are the things that, to our African sisters and brothers that we have had to go through. Being looked at as not only, okay, you can read. And I remember when my brother was, growing up, he was extremely smart. I am too, but he was very smart. And, some of his peers and those that were older than him were jealous of him because he was in top of the class and because he didn't, he played baseball and stuff, but he was so much into learning and reading and getting an understanding, reading novels, reading big, huge books and all of that. And just, they didn't like that because why? We were taught that we're not supposed to be that.
We were taught, babe, that progression is
That's
is
what
an
I was
enemy.
going to say. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We were taught that progression is the enemy.
And if you're progressing, that means you're pulling away from us.
Thank you. You're pulling away. And so what that did, and see again, that was a mentality that was forced upon us during slavery, that you're supposed to be lumped in one group of people, and this is it for you all.
Right.
So if you find this one reading, you need to come and tell us.
Right.
Because we need to kill that nigga.
Well, yeah, that's the truth.
I'm
it's
being
just
honest.
like the ones that worked in the house.
Right. It was the house Negroes and the field Negroes.
Right.
So there was already division and separatism there.
Because Master was doing that.
Because Master was doing that. So it wasn't us as Black Americans perpetuating that. That was the system in place. That was the mind screw that was in place to make us think that we're against each other.
Right. And we're only servants.
And we're only servants. We're only capable of doing this.
Right.
So even in that, you had where usually the house Negroes were more fair-skinned, quote unquote, better looking in appearance, better hair texture, so forth and so on. So they put them in the house to do the house chores with the white masters and the white families on the plantations. And we're saying this because I want our African brothers and sisters to understand this, because we got enough podcasts that are out here where you got a lot of folk who are talking a lot of stuff and they ain't saying nothing. They're saying a bunch of junk, and they're not educated on what they're saying. The reason why we're even sharing this is because even here in America, as Black Americans, the hope was that we would be divided and stay divided, and to some degree we have been. Our leaders, the Dr. Martin Luther King that you see on above on my right, Patrice Lumumba that you see on our left, who was the leader in Republic of Congo in Africa. These men gave their lives to help liberate their people from the mind screw of systems that were put into place to keep us divided and to keep us behind and to despise progression for one another. So if you had a house Negro that was in the house, the field Negro was made to feel even more inferior. Where I'm darker skinned, I'm uglier, my hair is coarser, and I'm only good for the brawn, and I'm only good for the heavy lifting of stuff that's going out here in the fields. I'm only good enough for the stuff that's out here in the heat. And so what does that do? When you see someone that used to come from among you now is allowed to go into the house and do the breastfeeding, or do the house chores, or to be next to Massa and serve him his meals because he or she looks better or carries himself better or whatever. Now that brings angst, that brings dissension, that brings friction among each other.
Absolutely.
And so now here we are centuries later, still with the mind screw of darker skinned Blacks versus lighter skinned Blacks, or affluent Blacks against poor Blacks. And so if we're really, really honest about it, colonialism, divide and conquer in Africa, did the same thing to our African brothers and sisters.
It did the same thing. Absolutely right.
If we're really honest about it, it all comes from a European created system that was orchestrated to keep division for divide and conquer of resources and human labor.
Yes.
The more we understand that, the more I hope that we would dispel our ignorances of one another, where I'm not looking at you less than because you're darker skinned, or I'm not looking at you less than because you're Igbo, or you're Hausa, or you're Fulani, or whatever. I'm looking at you as my equal, as my Black equal, even to our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean. And there's more Black people outside of Africa in Brazil, in South America, in Brazil, than there are here in America.
Mm-hmm.
And they too have been subjected to mind screws that make them feel inferior, that make them feel less than, or make the lighter skin feel better than the darker skin, or the darker skin feel less than the lighter skin.
Right.
So all of this is comes from a system of divide and conquer.
That's
and
exactly
it's all
right.
evil.
It's all evil.
So to point fingers at the atrocities and the plight of the Black Americans, if you're African, is no better than us doing and pointing the finger at y'all, because all of us have been colonized to one degree.
Right.
All of us have been separated from who we truly are as a people.
Right.
And so when I hear, and I'm just being honest, and I gotta say this, family, and I'm saying it in love. When I hear some Africans, they'll say, well, y'all don't know where you're from, and you don't. That's not a flex. Why would you say that as a flex? Well, y'all don't know where y'all from, and y'all don't know where y'all come from. Of course we don't. That's not something we're proud of, and that's not something that you should gloat about. That's ignorance that they want you to gloat about. Right. Oh, well, they're separate from you. And so, no, we're not inferior because we don't know where we come from. We were taken from a place by force. And so when you're taken from a place by force, you're still having to come to grips with who you are and what your identity is. That should not be weaponized. That should not be something that you use as a weapon against us.
Right. Right.
That doesn't make you a bigger person. That doesn't make you, because I know what tribe I'm from. Guess what? And I got to say this. Guess what? If you come here to America, they don't care about what tribe you from.
You look the same.
You look the same. And America is starting to see that even more today, and especially Africans who have arrived in America and who live there. You're starting to see, because again, a lot of our African brothers and sisters have been told negative, prejudiced things about us as Black Americans. Oh, we're this, we're that, we're lazy, we don't do this, we're womanizers, we don't take care of our kids. All these different things that they're told ignorantly about us before they even get here.
Right. And when you get here, why won't you come to try to find us and talk to us and get the understanding of who we are, instead of believing what you've been told? A lot of times people come here and assume what they've been told about us, not understanding and looking at these people have made something out of nothing.
Out of nothing.
They have this, the music. Let's just be real. You said we're gonna be real. Right. We're gonna be real. The music, the creative arts. Come on.
Yes.
All of this is us. We created this. I see kids in Africa now pop locking. You guys, we did that in the 80s. That started in the 80s. It started in New York, in the Bronx. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The rapping, the rap, hip hop, that's what it's called. It was rap in my time. It started in my generation. I'm 57 years old. I know when it started because I had a group my own self.
Right.
In high school.
Yeah.
And if my friend Pam is looking, she was part of the group. And my best friend Kiki.
Yes.
We started this. We're proud of that. The things that we've done should not be something that you guys come here and not ignore. That should be something you come here and say, oh, this is awesome. Well, let's come together. This is what we come to bring. And this is what you guys have. Now let's bring these forces together to make this be what it's supposed to be.
But honey, you won't do that if you're told. See, it takes a strong person to do something outside of what they've been told to do.
But we live in the advent of what? Technology now.
Right.
There should be no reason that, as we were telling you in the first segment of our relationship and what we did in Africa and where we've been there, we dispelled the myth. We did that.
But here's even with that, honey. When we went to Africa,
right,
we went to immerse ourselves around Africans.
Right.
We did not go looking for other Black Americans who happen to be in Africa.
That's correct. That's correct.
So what we're saying to our African brothers and sisters, many times, not all of them, but many times when they come here to America, they look for others, particularly Nigerians, they'll look for other Nigerians. And so they'll build silos and communities and never really engage with us, the Black Americans that have already been here.
Right. And so, how are we going to come together unless you just don't want
unless you just don't want to. Now, if you don't want to come together and you came to take,
right,
instead of giving, then that's a heart posture on you.
Right.
And you have to ask yourself, is that you or not? But when we went to Africa, we didn't go to Africa looking for other communities of Black Americans.
Right.
We went to Africa to say, okay, we want to engage. We want to sit down. We want to learn.
Yes.
We want to learn of you.
Yes.
Zip our lips and say, what is it that you do? Where do you come from? How do you guys do X, Y, Z? We don't see that reciprocated many times. I'm not saying all.
No.
But we don't see that same reciprocation when a lot of our African, particularly West African brothers and sisters come to America. We see you guys go into these little silos and build your own little communities. And what that does is that you don't allow, you'll keep the same ignorances of what you think you know. Or what you've been told about us.
But sometimes, I mean, and a lot of them, they'll allow you to come in, but they want to morph you into their,
and it's like
what they learn, how it is in their culture.
And that's the question. It's like, babe, you're coming to America. So if you're coming to America, why are you wanting us to assimilate with what it is that you do?
Right.
You're here in America.
Right.
It's just like if I go to Nigeria, I'm not trying to assimilate and make Nigerians become, African American.
Yeah.
No. And here's the thing, we can learn from one another.
We can bring them together.
If we're willing to, we can learn from one another and sit down and break bread with one another. Right. And it might be a loaf of bread, of white bread for me, and it might be fufu for you.
Right.
But guess what? We both finna eat.
Right.
It might be some collard greens for me,
right?
And it might be some okra soup for you.
Yeah. Hey,
but we finna eat,
right? And what we can do is, hey, I got this bread. I got this French bread. You want some of this?
Right.
Can I taste your fufu?
Right. And then go over here.
Let
me get some of your tamales.
Right.
Let me get some of your English muffins.
You put all of this together. This is a feast up on top of.
Let me get some of your right. Sushi.
Right.
And let's bring this together, y'all, and we can eat good. Everybody in here can eat good. This is not hard.
This is not.
So to our African brothers and sisters, we are saying this because
learn the history here.
When you come to America, learn the history.
Right. What happened to us. Learn it. And I'm again, it's not to get frustrated. Learn what happened to us. Stop listening to what someone has told you and go and research for yourself. Go look at Dr. King. Go look at Medgar. There was more people than just Dr. King, you guys.
Yes.
I'm not taken away from Dr. King.
Yes.
But I'm saying there's Medgar Evers. There's other people, excuse me. Mm-hmm. There's other people that had something to do. The people that were with him, that with Dr. King, the people that were doing things in Alabama and Mississippi and stuff that is on record.
And what people need to understand.
That have been done.
And what people need to understand.
For our rights.
To our African brothers and sisters, what you have to understand is that the privileges that you are now experiencing here in America when you come,
right?
It's not because white people wanted to give it to you, ma'am and sir.
No, civil rights was us.
Civil rights was fought, yes, on the backs of Black African American people.
We created,
and we had to lock arms with some of our white brothers and sisters.
Yes, right.
We had to lock arms with some of our Latino brothers and sisters. If we're not willing to lock arms with them, you don't have anything that you can come here and enjoy in America.
Nothing.
I guarantee you don't.
Nothing. You wouldn't have came here.
You wouldn't have come here.
They wouldn't have allowed
you to come here.
Unless you were coming to work.
So we're saying this, and we're saying this, family, passionately. Not, again, not out of frustration, but passionately, because these are the discussions that we need, fam. Yeah. We need these kinds of discussions and dialogue among one another. It can't be a one-sided where only the Black Americans will say something on their podcast, and then the Africans are saying something on their reels and their podcasts, and we're going back and forth, and we're not having true dialogue with one another. Mm-hmm. This is why you hear the passion in our voices. This is why we spent our money to go to Africa, so that we can learn of ourselves and we can learn of you.
That's right. That's right.
So when you demonize the fact that we don't, quote unquote, know our history, or we don't have culture, what you have to understand is that we had to build our culture from zero, from nothing, because we weren't given an opportunity. Our last names were taken from us. Mm-hmm. My last name ain't Morgan.
And mine McDowell.
These are European Celtic surnames that were given to our family members.
Right.
That person's last name is not Williams or Johnson. So many of us as Black Americans, so it's not cool when some of our African brothers and sisters like, well, y'all ain't got no culture, and y'all don't know nothing, and y'all don't know who you are. Well, it's not our fault that we don't. That was a system put in place intentionally, right, with the hopes that we don't learn of one another. Right. But now that we have an opportunity to do so,
yes,
then let's do so.
Let's do that.
Let's do that very thing that they said that we couldn't do, and they were banking on us never doing.
Right.
Just like you were. Africa was not divided into 54 countries.
No, it
wasn't. Or was it intentionally supposed to be 54 separate countries? No, excuse me.
That's right.
It was divided. So you're not Nigerian.
Right.
You ain't Algerian. Mm-mm. You're not Cameroonian. You're not Ghanaian. But because someone said, let's carve this piece of land up because we want their resources, and we want their gold, and we want their coffee beans, and we want their oil, and we want all their natural resources, we're going to carve this up and call it Ghana. We're going to carve this up and call it Togo. We're going to carve this up and call it Namibia. So you're not even what you say you are. You're not even Nigerian.
And Africa is not Africa.
And Africa is not even Africa.
No.
So fam, we've got to get back to some truth here. And unfortunately, the truth hurts.
Right. And I want to say this, if someone, and I want it in particular to be African, if you know what the real name of Africa is, tell me. Put it in our comments.
Yes, please.
I want to know, do you know the real name? Because that name was given to you guys by the Europeans.
Yeah. So there was so much that was stripped
from us, from you. Right.
So we could easily demonize you guys and use that as a weapon and say, well, hey, you let them come on your land.
Right.
Why would we do that? What do we gain from doing that?
All we're doing is continue the perpetuation. Continue to do the same thing that they want us to do. Perpetuate the divide. Perpetuate the hate for one another.
Right.
That's what is the whole. This is the whole purpose of it. And our passion is to say, it's time now. Okay, we've had too much of our leaders be martyred. They're gone. Their families have reaped that the hatred and the crime that has happened. Just to say something really quick to add this in, all the years I grew up, I was born in 1968, and my best friend I was born in May 5th, and she was born April 4th. Well, the day that Martin Luther King was assassinated was on her birthday, which was April 4th, the day she was born. Mm. And when they had his funeral and everything, I never saw parts of, I only saw a little bit of it, and it usually don't have sound to it. But we ended up seeing a part where his dad was there. Mm. And and they were taking him up to the casket to see his son. Mm-hmm. And the wailing that came from that man. He was paralyzed. They had to carry him back to his seat. That man lost his child. This was this man's baby. Mm-hmm. Then not long later, after that, I believe, mm-hmm. he lost his wife. She was shot and killed on the organ in the church by white supremacists, by Ku Klux Klan, by the government, whatever, whoever.
But we're the savages, huh?
We're the savages.
We're the savages. We're the ones that perpetuate all of the crime and everything here in this country.
Right.
No.
Families have been torn apart. Malcolm X, he had a wife, he had children. What we're saying is, isn't it enough now? We've lost even Africa. Patrice, all the people and the leaders that you've lost there because they were trying to help liberate and bring about change, right. And change for the people. Aren't we tired now? Right. We're in 2026. It is time for us to put down the war words and the hatred and the ignorance of not knowing each other, and to come together. It's enough blood that have been shed by people that we don't even know. We only know half of what they've done and what they've had to endure, but their families had to endure. If that was your child laying in that casket wailing, and you're wailing, if that was your wife that was killed on the organ, let's bring it home.
But that's what they don't show.
Right.
Our African brothers and sisters and many immigrants when they come here is right. They show the I Have a Dream speech of Dr. King, and he wanted to bring white people and black people together so we can eat together and so forth and so on. But they don't show that his house was bombed.
Right.
They don't show that his phone was tapped.
Yes.
So that the government was able to hear his phone conversations with some of the people that he was helping to bring civil rights and equality to. Right. So all of these different things is that you're going to have, just like we do, we have to research and find out who we are, but you need to research and find out who you are too.
Right.
And what you were supposed to be, who you are rightful owners of. You are on land that you don't control. I got to say this. We're in Nigeria. We go into a grocery store, a convenience store.
It was a grocery store.
Grocery store. Owned by Lebanese.
Yeah.
Ran by young Nigerians. We go to the store. We got our cart and everything. We're getting different stuff, to bring back to the hotel, different things, little food items and stuff we need, ice cream, so forth, whatever. We get to the line. Honey, I'm not thinking, I don't have any cash on me.
Right, because we're so used to using
the credit card.
Yeah.
So I don't have any cash on me. We had been to that store before, and so the boys that we were with, our spiritual sons who are Nigerian,
yes.
I told them, I said, hey, you guys, I'm going to walk over across the street to the ATM.
Yes.
And go grab some cash. I'll be right back. You guys can stay here. I'll be back to go grab some cash. It wasn't even 5-6 minutes. Not even that long. No. I come back. All the stuff that we had, ready to check out, the store managers and the owners, the Lebanese store owners, had told the young workers there, the Nigerian workers there, to put everything back on the shelf. Now, I told these young people, I'm coming back. I'm going to be across the street. You've got these big windows in the store where they could see that I'm literally across the street to go get some Naira out of the ATM. They put all the stuff back when I got there. You were there with the boys.
I stayed, right. I think Dan will.
I get back and I'm livid. And I said, well, what happened to the stuff? The young workers came and got me. I said, we're gone. I said, we're done. We're done here. The young workers came and begged me, sir, please, sir. No, sir, please. We'll get everything back. Please, please. I said, no. I said, because these people think they can come over here in Nigeria, of all places. Now, if you want to do that crap in Lebanon, go do that. You're here in Africa, Jack. Why are you going to do that mess here in Africa? In Nigeria, of all places, because you're allowed to.
That's right.
You know why you can do that? Because you're allowed to, with no consequences, with no accountability. I told these young people, put back everything. They begged us. No, sir, please don't, sir. We'll get everything back, sir. Please, just let us do it. Please, we'll do it. No problem. I had to think. I said, this could cost them, these young people's jobs, if I leave here. Because what they're going to do, the owners are going to blame them that they lost business with us because of something that they did, and they didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
So I had to think in that split second, no, this could cause these young Nigerians their jobs. And jobs, as we've seen, are very hard to come by in Nigeria.
Yes.
So we had to have compassion enough to say, in that instance, no, let's let them go ahead and check us out so that this doesn't cost them any further damage.
Right.
But what angered me so much about that situation, honey, was that this wasn't the first time something like this has happened.
No, it's not. It's not the first.
And it won't be the last time something like that will happen.
No.
What angers me is that this is allowed to happen.
Right.
And you are on African soil.
That's right.
Try that crap. You be black with your black self. Go to Lebanon, open up a store, and do that to their people there. I bet you things will be different. Go to China with your black self and open up a store in the middle of Beijing, treating the Chinese people with contempt when they come in and try to shop in your store. I bet you'll be on the first plane back to Africa. Why are we saying this? Because if we don't come together, and coming together is not just, oh, let's look at each other's TikToks and let's laugh and dance and let's do each other's dances and silly stuff on social media. Or let's argue and fight with one another throughout the diaspora on social media. That is not coming together. Coming together means having an understanding of one another, having a heart of love to say, you know what, we got to kill this stuff in our generation and we better do it quickly. Because there's a generation that's coming behind us that is expecting things to be better when they get there. When they get in our place, in our position, they are expecting things to be better. With all this technology,
from zero.
Right. And they shouldn't have to start from zero. They shouldn't have to start from square one. Why? Because we didn't do our part. Because we wanted to continue the bickering and the arguing and the infighting with one another. Or we wanted to continue the tribalism. Here in America, let me hip you to something. They don't care if you're Igbo. I found out that I'm Igbo.
Yeah, you did.
That the 33% of my Nigerian traced to Abia State in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Abia State is more of a Christian state in Nigeria, made up of the Igbo tribe. Do you know these white folks and these people here in America don't care nothing about that?
And I don't know. So it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Because here in America, they see this. So when you come here with this angst and this ignorance against us as Black Americans, it doesn't do you no good. Oh, I'm Igbo. That doesn't fly here. Oh, I'm Hausa. That doesn't fly here. Nobody cares about that here. Use a nigga here. I have to say, no other podcast is going to kick it like this. No other one. Use a nigga here. And so what we're doing is we're trying to tell you through passion and sincerity, with love and firm love, that we got to cut this stuff out amongst one another. Because we've got God kids in Nigeria from our spiritual family that's there right now, if they inherit this same world that we're in today, we accomplished nothing. We accomplished absolutely nothing. And so we're all engulfed in entertainment. Let's sing, let's dance. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is a part of it. But there has to be some accountability.
Yeah, some healing.
There has to be some healing. There has to be some conversations.
Right.
And we have to have the conversations, honey, where we're not so quick to get offended.
Right. That's why we said you have to listen more than you speak.
Right.
You everything
doesn't need just an immediate retort, an immediate response.
Right.
You.
And we have to come at one another again, like you said. We can't be already ready to have a rebuttal before the words come out our mouths, or vice versa.
Right.
Us too. With
absolutely.
With
African Americans too. Yes.
We can't do that. We have to be able to sit down, be able to discuss our differences, which are more like than anything, but discuss the things that we've been told, discuss the things that have been fed to us, and be able to say, no, this is how we see it. This is what we do. Oh, you guys got the same thing. It's just like the foods. Okay. When I see the fufu, I think cornbread. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We made cornbread,
Mm-hmm.
When I see the egusi soup, okay, we have okra here.
Mm-hmm.
We eat the okra here.
Mm-hmm.
So we have so many similarities.
Yes.
We have so much in common that we can do.
We come from you.
We come from you. Absolutely. That we can do so many great things together.
Right.
And business is the final frontier.
And business is the vehicle.
The vehicle
that can be utilized to bring us together.
Absolutely right.
Absolutely. Not to tear us apart, not for divide and conquer as it has been in the past. Business can be the vehicle. Business can be the vehicle where, yes, I'm coming to make money. Yes, I'm coming to better my life, but not at the expense of your life. Not to take out of your mouth so that I can feed my mouth even more than what you have.
Right.
That's not doing business. That's not collaborating together.
That's not collaboration.
So we need to get rid of competition of one another and get in collaboration with each other.
Absolutely.
And the longer that we stay in competition with one another, where we section ourselves off in our own little imaginary tribes, oh, we're this over here, and we don't really associate with them folks over here. Well, we don't really go to church with them over there because they shout this way and they sing these kinds of songs. Then guess what? We don't get nothing done.
Nothing is accomplished.
Nothing gets done.
Right.
Nothing gets accomplished. Nothing progresses and allows us to transform the plight of our people.
That's right. That's right.
These men behind us took bullets, and their families and their wives and children grew up without fathers.
Right.
Because they wanted to do something extraordinary for the people that they loved.
Right.
If you were to look at these men, looking across from one another in the back of this image, could you readily tell that one is Black American and one is African, Congolese?
No, you cannot tell.
No. In fact, many of you watching this didn't even know who the other gentleman was. Some people probably didn't know who Dr. King was. But we would have to tell you that they come from two different continents, but they had the same heart for their people. They had the same heart to fight for freedom and equality for all people. Because if we get free and you don't, we still ain't free.
That's right.
And if you get free
and we're not,
and we don't, you ain't free.
No.
These are the things that we're sorely needing to discuss and have conversations about. Not so that we remain fragmented, tribalistic, divided. That's what they're banking on. That's what they're creating the algorithm to do. They're banking on the fact that you will stay in your little world, in your little bubble, in your little silo, where it's just you as a Nigerian and you stay with your Nigerians, and you as Cameroonian and you stay with your Cameroonians, and you as South African and you stay with your South Africans. Mm-hmm. They are banking on that. There's a young man, his name is I Show Speed. He's a social media star and an athlete and so forth. And he just went around much of the world, but particularly in Africa. Mm. And he went to many of the sub-Saharan nations, and he went to a few in North Africa as well. I believe he went to Algeria and he went to Egypt. From some of the video that he showed and he shared on his platforms, the love that he got from the sub-Saharan countries was immense. Mm. I mean, they adored him, and he adored them out there. Not so much when he got to the North African countries, to the Arab dominant countries. Not so much. Now, that's not for us to talk about and tell. You go research yourself. I've been to Egypt. We've been to Egypt together. We loved it. We've been to Nigeria and Kenya and Ethiopia. And we're going to many more places. So we understand that every place is going to be different, and you cannot judge a nation by one experience.
Right.
So that's what we need to be careful that we don't do.
That's right.
Is that we don't judge Egypt because of one experience that this young man had.
Right.
We've got to get this thing together now. And we have to be intentional. And we have to be aggressive now. Because everything is counting on us to miss this moment. When this young man showed the world different parts of Africa, and you saw his experience in Northern Africa with Egypt and Algeria, it was not the most favorable. What I don't want people to do is to take that experience and that moment and to say, oh, well, I ain't going to no Algeria. I'm not going to Egypt because of this. No, allow this to be a teaching moment.
Right. Right.
Not further the divide. And this is not what Speed was looking to do,
no.
Right? He's not. So I want to make that clear.
No,
Speed did not put this out so that there could be this divide and with people saying, well, man, I don't want to go to no Egypt because they don't like dark-skinned black folks there. No, that's not why he did this. He was sharing all of his experiences that he's had, not even just in Africa, but in other parts of the world. Mm-hmm. But what I don't want us as Black Americans and as Africans and throughout the diaspora, I don't want us to take a moment that we see on social media and allow them to write the narrative for us. So now that the algorithm is showing you negativity,
right,
that springs off of what this young man was simply trying to show to the rest of the world.
Yes.
And unfortunately, his experience in real time as it was happening was not the best experience.
Yeah.
So let's not take that and expound on that and say, oh, okay, well, this country's like this and these people are like this because this individual experienced that. No. Let's be smarter than that now. Right now, honey, the world's eyes is on Africa.
Yes.
Africa, the ball is in your court.
Yes. And we saw it coming.
And we saw it coming years ago when we were there, before it got hyped up and before
Right.
Black Americans, before the year of return with Ghana in 2019,
Yes.
we had already been there on the continent. We had already visited three countries there before 2019.
That's right.
And we saw that this was coming. We saw business was coming. And here's even the more kicker, honey. What was also real for us when we got there is even in Kenya, seeing Europeans own and run everything.
Yes.
Or mostly everything.
Yeah.
Going to Egypt and seeing Europeans and Russians running and owning everything, to the point where when we were in Hurghada, they were looking at us like, who are y'all and why are y'all here? And I'm like, well, we Black and we can be here.
Right. But they've set up there. They created resorts.
Right. They have resorts and hotels and restaurants. And so they've been able to build commerce and trade and stuff on African soil, family, that we ourselves are going to have to do. And we can only do that by coming together. We can only do that if we take these fingers and one by one, we create a fist. I've made the analogy before, honey, that you'll never see a one-handed boxer in the ring. You've never seen a one-handed heavyweight champion with one hand go into the ring. You see him fight with two. One is for offense, one is for defense.
That's right.
So if you're always on offense, then you're not going to win. And if you're always playing defense, then you're not scoring no points.
No.
You need both.
You need both.
And so, y'all, we need both Black Americans.
Yes.
We need our African brothers and sisters. We need Black folks throughout the diaspora. We need our Hispanic brothers and sisters. Yes. We need our white brothers and sisters. Because if I remember correctly, on them front lines in the civil rights movement, there were some white folks that was taking them bullets.
Oh, yes, it was. Yep.
They were taking the bullet. They was taking the water hoses with Dr. King.
Right.
We need each other.
We need each other.
God intentionally created it that way.
That's right.
And it's man in his ignorance that tries to do away with what God originally created and how he created it. It's man putting his ignorant, evil spin on what God truly intended, how God truly intended things to be. And when man gets in the way, watch out. He would destroy the original plans that God had all along. And then wonder why he can't keep it together. Wonder why governments around the world are collapsing.
Right.
Wonder why people are dying of stuff that they could easily be cured for. Wonder why there's so much hate and infighting among the races. It wasn't supposed to be this way. Black Americans were never to be pulled away from Africa. Native Americans should have never suffered the atrocities that they suffered on their own soil. And you, as my African brothers and sisters, you were not supposed to have that done to you either.
That's right.
We were to live in harmony with one another. We were to live in close proximity to one another, not in tribes, not in silos, but together. Because at the end of this life, family, whether you believe in an afterlife or not, your spirit, your soul is going to go somewhere.
That's right.
I would want to go to the place where all nations are going to be together with God. Whatever you believe in, whatever religious belief you have, I would want to end this life knowing that I'm going to a place where God is going to be and where all people who love God are going to be there with him. But here's the thing, family. This ain't no dress rehearsal. No. This is the real deal. This is the show. And we don't get another opportunity. We don't get another rehearsal. This is the show that determines who spends eternity with God or who spends eternity with the nations that God has always been wanting to bring together. This will determine that. So you better know your role. You better know your lines. And you better study who you're supposed to have those lines with. Because in this theatrical production, our lines are supposed to be told and spoken to one another. Where you have no bigger role than me, and I have no bigger role than you. We all play a part.
Yes.
In this production.
Absolutely.
And y'all, because we only get to do it one time, we better do it right.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Living More with the Morgans. We're going to keep this conversation going because I think we got more.
We do.
If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that button below. Visit our YouTube channel. Visit all of our social media pages. Listen to us on all the favorite podcast stations. But ultimately, share this with your people. Think about what we've talked about. Take away the spirit of offense. Take away, oh, I want to get back and I want to say what I got to say and now let me talk and let me say something. Take that away. Because that's not our heart. That wasn't our intention. What is our intention is to bring these together. So we can fight the good fight. Fight the fight that matters. Not against one another. Not even against others. But fight the fight that brings us to progression, to success, to community, to unity, and to love. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
On Living More with the Morgans.